What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another post game here on Mets Central. And the Mets lose 3-1 to the Athletics as just yet again another piss poor performance from this offense. Yet again, just mistakes in the field happening. And it's just way too much going on with that right now to where I'm definitely getting a little worried. I'm not there yet because they're 9-5 at the end of the day. And there are pieces here that should tell you things should be better, but some of these things just are carrying over game after game to where it is definitely at least worrisome. But either way, leave a like on your way into the post game show here, or if you're watching on replay, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live here on the channel. But yeah, infuriating yet again because there was traffic on the bases. They didn't capitalize with the traffic on the bases. Like I said, there was mistakes in the field. They didn't make up for the mistakes in the field. And David Peterson, I mean, he turned in an okay outing, but just it's hard to blame him when the offense is what it is. But let's talk about this one in the first inning. I mean, just an example right here, a fielding error that gets Francisco Lindor on. There is a chance to capitalize right off the rip, especially against JT again, who has, I believe, little to no major league experience. Obviously, a former Met prospect there as well. Yeah, 8 games last season with the Athletics, little to no experience. There is an opportunity to jump on this team early, and then they go down in order. David Peterson has a really nice first inning, gets a pair of strikeouts, throwing his slider really effectively in that, on that Soderstrom at bat, and just really executing his pitch as well in that first inning. We go to the second inning. Yet again, the Mets just not capitalizing with a base runner. Starling Marte would ground out. Mark Vientos with a single. Brett Beatty lines out. And then we have where the unfortunate thing happened. Jose Siri, even though I was saying in the last post game, I haven't been thrilled with the fact that he's gone the last 16 at bats or whatever it was they were saying without getting on base or without a hit, whatever it might have been. I think it was without a hit because I feel like he's definitely walked between then. But Tyrone Taylor has to come in because he fouls a ball off of his knee. And that did not look good. They tweeted that apparently he's going to be day to day. It is just a little bit of a soreness there. So thankfully he's going to be okay and not out long term, but still not ideal that you already had to go to the bench early in this game because it limits your opportunity to potentially utilize Jesse Winker in a different spot versus when they had to utilize him. Bottom of the second inning, again, 1-2-3 inning for David Peterson. Easy work. The third inning is where I got annoyed because you get 2 base runners on after Hayden Sender grounds out. You get the back-to-back walks from Lindor and Soto, and especially that Soto at bat that was really competitive. Both honestly were. Here's an opportunity to strike, and Pete Alonso, as good as he has been this season today, man, he was lost at the plate, and that at bat was no exception. Considering the fact, too, that he was able to drive that count up to the way that he did, a 10 pitch at bat, and then the swing at that sinker on the inside part of the plate, just really infuriating. And then Nimmo grounds out. Again, not getting the big hit there. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Urias would get a single. Muncy pops out, and then Peterson picks off Urias at first base. And then Peretta ends up grounding out to end the inning. The fourth inning, back-to-back outs, and then Beatty gets a single, maybe because he's in a minor league ballpark. It helped him get a hit today. Tyrone Taylor, though, strikes out, which he had a lot of ugly at-bats until against one of the best pitchers in the world, unironically, at the end of this game. Bottom of the fourth inning, though, this is where the trouble came in for David Peterson. A double from Jacob Wilson, a leadoff double there because he started to really not locate his pitch as well. Then there was a fly out from Brent Rooker that he left in a way too good of a part of the plate. The cameraman made me think that that one was leaving the yard. And then he leaves a slider right over the middle of the plate, or at least close enough to it for Soderstrom to pull it and make it a 1-0 game for the Athletics, or to drive it up the middle, rather. Langeliers gets a single. Andujar gets a single. And it took forever for Jeremy Hefner to visit the mound. He waited for damage to pretty much be done. But again, I won't rip on Hefner too much. It's just like anytime I'm ready to compliment him, he does that. You do not get fined for going out to the mound. I would like it if he started actually going out to the mound before the damage is done. Either way, though, Blade would end up grounding out. Brett Beatty slipping as he's making the turn there. That brought in a run, though, to make it 2-0. And then a catcher interference. Just again, ugly stuff there. Then Muncy hits it that force out, but a lot of contact there that inning, which was very concerning. Top of the fifth inning, Hayden Senger leadoff single. What do you think happens next? The rest of the order goes down, and I'm not. I want to make this clear. I want to make this very, very clear. I'm not worried about Juan Soto in the bit. One bit. In the bit. I'm not worried about him one bit. In the slightest is what I meant to say. That's where I was going with that. I'm not worried about Juan Soto, but I'm not loving that most of the time that he is making contact lately, it is resulting in a lot of groundouts. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm going to be blunt with you on that. And I'm not worried because he's still playing together good at bats. He is still getting on base. He is walking. He is doing Juan Soto things in that regard. But when he does make contact, I would love to see him start to do a little bit more Juan Soto things. Again, I get he's not going to do it every at bat. That is just unrealistic to ask from him. I am not concerned in any regard. It is 14 games. It would be silly for me to be concerned. But it's something that I'm pointing out that is bugging me. I just want to make that clear. Pete Alonso then grounds out to end the inning because, again, wasting a leadoff base runner. Bottom of the fifth inning, outside of a Brent Rooker double, honestly, a very solid inning for Peterson, rebounding there. Sixth inning, Brandon Nimmo getting a home run. It sucks that it was with no one on base, but he ends up getting a home run there to make it a 2-1 game. And either way, I can't kill him for that because the rest of the offense needs to step the hell up as the rest of the order goes down there. They ended up getting out of the game too, which is what's annoying. Bottom of the sixth inning, again, another solid inning for Peterson. Allowed a single to Blade, but still very solid. And Blade got caught stealing there as well. Seventh inning, 1-2-3 inning, just easy work there. Jesse Winker came in the pitch hit, which apparently he's been under the weather, and that's why he hasn't been playing. But there is that. Bottom of the seventh, Budo comes in. Definitely not his sharpest outing. He allowed a single to Muncy and then allowed a double to make it a 3-1 game. And at that point, honestly, I didn't feel great because his offense was not producing. And yet again, in the eighth inning, Juan Soto walks, and then the next three down in order. Budo with a nice rebound in the eighth inning. And then they gave some hope, of course, in the ninth inning because they have to do this always. But after Vientos grounds out, Beatty looking like a child at the plate there, striking out on 3 pitches, which was the most obvious thing in the damn world when he stepped up to the plate there. Tyrone Taylor gets that single, which is what I was referring to earlier, where he gets a hit off of one of the best pitchers in the world somehow, chucking 103, 102 casually, by the way. Torrens ended up pulling one or hitting one to the opposite field that I genuinely thought was leaving the yard for a minute, but unfortunately ended up hooking foul. And then he ends up grounding out to the middle of the field to end the game. When Mason Miller was in and I saw who was due up, I was not thrilled. I was like, yeah, it's not. I just know that it's probably over. Like, see you tomorrow. And hopefully they rebound it in the rubber match. That's where my mind was. And it's unfortunate that we're there with the offense, but this is where we are. In terms of David Peterson's start, just to circle back to that for a minute. Again, not the sharpest in terms of what he provided, but gave a good enough stat line, like rebounded pretty well after that fourth inning where he got touched up a good amount. I just didn't love the location of his pitches in that fourth inning. The velo and the stuff was the same, though, the entire way through. If anything, the velo was actually up today. He was actually dialing up his sinker and fastball a little bit more than we are accustomed to seeing from him. But he is far from the problem. Budo, even though he got touched in this outing, far from the problem. Just, again, this offense, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, not enough traffic on the bases, a bunch of 0-4s in the top of the lineup. Starry Marte is terrible. I don't care that he had a multi-hit game against the Marlins. I don't care that even yesterday he ended up having a hit, a big hit as well. I'm glad they moved him out of the cleanup spot, but I'm just so tired of watching him missing on so many pitches. He is just chasing so much. I mean, even looking at the eighth inning there, just chasing a sweeper on the outside part of the plate, and he thinks the torpedo bats are going to help him. He's missing on every single pitch, it feels like. He's got to move down in the lineup, and Vientos has to move back up. And I get that Vientos has not looked the sharpest, and there's concerns, but I would rather watch Mark Vientos struggle in the five hole than watch Starling Marte hit fifth, because Marte is not providing. At least Vientos is giving some quality at bats here. Marte is not doing that at all. So that's something that I would like to see different going forward, because I'm just so tired of watching him be a black hole in the middle of the lineup here. Um, but the bottom of the order didn't do any favors either. I mean, Sendra had a hit, did what you could ask from him. It just, again, not enough really throughout the order. But the top of the order was really the bigger issue, honestly, in terms of the 0-4s, even though there were a couple of walks there. Just really infuriating. Another game that was winnable that they lost, which is kind of the story, and that's the only positive that you could take away here, is that all of these losses are winnable games, but there are concerns in these games at the same time where, okay, the offense has to start putting it together a little bit more here. And you're not going to score 10 runs every game. I'm not asking for that, but you should be able to touch JT again and hit in this type of ballpark. That's just my opinion. But yeah. Either way, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before I wrap things up here. Vientos is really poor. Not great. And he didn't play a great third base today, to be honest with you. I didn't love the way that he played in the diamond at all. But either way, uh I don't think he's been completely piss poor, because the at bats have been better, and there are signs that he's going to break out of this, and I get people don't want to hear it, but I get that it's frustrating, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Runners in scoring position has been abysmal. Made Ginn look like Cy Young. Hopefully, light up Sevy tomorrow. Got to take 2 out of 3 and keep winning series on the Minnesota. Completely agree there. Like, at least win tomorrow, because I wanted 2 out of 3 going into the series. You're probably not, or you still have a chance to do that. I would have liked the sweep, especially because this game was winnable. It's not going to happen, but you got to at least win tomorrow. You at the very least have to win this game tomorrow for damn sure, because I'm sorry, but losing this series would just, you can't lose a series to the Athletics. And I get that they are a better team than they've been in years prior, but if you're a true contender, like, you should still be beating that team. It is just that simple. Uh, but yeah, I think that's really all I got here. So thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you in the next one.